recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 117 of the Wrestlebread podcast. So I hope everyone's doing well out there, out in your world. I've been doing a lot of overtime, so your girl is slightly tired, but, we still had a pretty good week of wrestling. We have Money in the Bank coming up this Sunday. We got the Go Home show on Raw and on SmackDown. We had an NXT. We had AEW Fyter Fest Night 1. So let's get into some news and rumors as well. So first of all, the thing that popped up was we all know that Jimmy Uso was arrested for a DUI, and I believe this may be like the third or fourth time this has happened. And the lovely people on social media decided to blame Naomi or, put some type of responsibility on Naomi for what has happened, which makes no sense. First of all, I personally know the effects of someone who has alcohol issues, and I tell you this right now, there is nothing that can be done. We're not talking about a child here, we're talking about a grown man, and unfortunately, there is but so much that you can do as far as control. In my experience, you can, try to stop the person from drinking, but once that person is away from you, once that person is on their own, there's really not much you can do. Unfortunately, the only person that can help Jimmy Uso is Jimmy Uso. So, my thoughts and prayers go to them too. And it got so bad of this whole blame with Naomi that she deactivated her Twitter account, which is horrible. This isn't like some type of situation. This isn't a wrestling story where you can sit there and say, oh, I don't like this and this sucks and all that other stuff. This is real life. And you don't know the story, but I can tell you that it is not Naomi's fault. Unless we see Naomi sitting there getting arrested right alongside him. I do remember there was a time where I don't think they were both arrested. I think she was in the car with him. And all I gotta say is, no, don't leave her alone, okay? You sit there and put your thoughts and prayers out there, but, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But, this, unfortunately, the world that we live in, and with social media, the rule is if you have something nice to say, make sure it can fit in 280 characters. I'm hoping that, he gets the help that he needs, and that, she will be strong enough mentally to be able to try her best to help Jimmy, but unfortunately the only person that can help Jimmy is Jimmy. Another rumor, according to PW Insider, is that the WWE is still considering shortening Tegan Nox's name to simply Nox on the main roster, which makes sense because that's what happens with pretty much every single person that has gone up to the main roster. They tend to lose a part of their NXT name. We're looking at Andrade, I believe Aleister Black, Buddy Murphy, who else? A lot of people had lost their last names or even first names. So I'm sure with Shotzi Blackheart, she's either going to be Blackheart or Shotzi. When Toni Storm comes out there, Toni Storm may survive. She might survive because Toni Storm kind of, it flows better. What are they going to call her? They can't call her Storm. They can't call her Storm. I guess they'll just stick to Toni. Who knows? And another rumor that has to do with Raw is, according to Fightful Select, they are moving Aaliyah to Raw has been under consideration for about a month now. And apparently, it was said that she made a good impression on officials during a scouting trip. Not to sound mean, this isn't to sound mean, but Aaliyah has the look of, of a wrestler, a female wrestler on Raw. That's her type of look is exactly what they kind of go for, where it's more about the look and the storyline versus the wrestling ability. Aaliyah has been in NXT for a very long time, and she has gotten slightly better. The wrestling skills isn't there. Like, unfortunately, she's not on like Sasha Banks' level or Bianca Belair's level or anything like that. So, unless, she continues to practice and work on her moveset, I really don't expect her to put on like 5-star matches. Now, she might make me eat my words in a couple of years or a couple of months or something like that, and I hope she does. This isn't to like, say anything meaningful, but the wrestling ability isn't there. But she fits the women's roster on Raw, where it's more storyline than it is wrestling in the ring. Let's talk about what happened this week on Raw. We had a fatal 4-way match, and the storyline wasn't even the fatal 4-way match. The storyline was actually about Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, and Doudrop. And then it turned into what it turned into. I forgot. I think Nia Jackson came out. But yeah, that's mainly what it was. And it happens a lot with a lot of matches on the main roster, especially with Raw, where it's more the storyline versus what's actually happening in the ring. That's why, a lot of people feel as though the women's roster in NXT was always, number one. And that's because they concentrate more of what's going on in the ring versus the storyline. I mean, there's a storyline there, but the storyline revolves around what's going on in the ring. Whereas on Raw, wrestling revolves around the storyline. That's why with the women's main roster tag team championships, it was all storyline, versus with the NXT championships, it was, straight up wrestling. It was defended a lot more. It was taken a lot seriously. So, that I can see that type of move happening. But now we are starting to get the next flow of wrestlers into NXT, because as we all saw on SmackDown, we have Tegan Nox coming up, we have Shotzi Blackheart who came up, and we're getting Toni Storm coming soon. So NXT now has to, develop the next wave of women in their division. And soon we're going to see the men who's going to get called up as well. A lot of people feel as though it could be Karrion Kross. It could be Johnny Gargano, even though I kind of don't want it to be Johnny Gargano. We've seen it happen before. We see that he wasn't really used as well. Truthfully, NXT kind of fits him better. I look at NXT more as I kind of look at it more as a third brand versus developmental, because, when it first started, it was straight up developmental. But now that the roster is as strong, if not stronger, than Raw and SmackDown, I kind of look at it more of as a third brand, especially with a lot of people on the main roster coming to NXT. We seen it with who we saw it with. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing blanks. Samoa Joe, very recently. We see it happen time and time again, of people going from the main roster down to NXT. And that's because, you know, the way of thinking, the flow is a lot different in NXT than it is on Raw or even SmackDown. So, you know, the last bit of rumor that's happening, and a lot of people are saying this, is that the rumored match that is happening at SmackDown is supposed to be Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. Oh, were you expecting me to say Brock Lesnar? Like everyone kind of wanted? People wanted Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar ever since Bobby Lashley came back to WWE. But unfortunately, we don't really get what we always want right now. Apparently, what is being given to us is Bobby Lashley versus Goldberg. And I don't know. I really hope that Bobby Lashley and Goldberg is happening so that Lashley is the one who is going to win. Oh yeah, I completely forgot, with NXT, Mandy Rose had made an appearance. So there you go, which I'm fine with. I kind of realized that I don't think Mandy Rose ever been in NXT. I think she was on Tough Enough, and then from there she went right to the main roster. So for her to come back down to NXT, let me see. Actually, I might be wrong. I think she was in NXT, but she was only in there just a little bit. I think she only wrestled like 1 or 2 matches. So, but it is good to see Mandy Rose in NXT. We'll see what is going to happen from there. So getting into the recaps, let's start off with Raw. Raw was an okay show. The big storyline with Raw had to do with Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley starting off Raw going against Xavier Woods. And this was a good match. I'm fine with seeing this rivalry going on with Bobby Lashley and Kofi Kingston. It kind of brings a bit of a dynamic, especially with MVP trying to get Kofi Kingston to realize, like, hey, you know, you need to take yourself more seriously. The reason why you lost your title is because you keep playing around, you know, trying to get the fire out of him. Whereas though he's turned around with Bobby Lashley and they're doing the VIP lounge with the 6 women who come sitting around, and they're drinking champagne and having a good time. Bobby Lashley wearing his sunglasses and stuff like that. You know, not really, kind of taking Kofi Kingston for a joke. And what we saw with Raw this week is we saw what the repercussions of not taking Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston seriously. So in this match, when he was going against Xavier Woods, instead of going for the pin, he sat there and he was like posing a lot and things like that. And instead of, you know, immediately, you know, going for the win, he decided that he wanted to embarrass Xavier Woods. And so Xavier Woods did the inside cradle, the schoolboy, the most powerful move in WWE today, and got the victory. So that definitely messed with Bobby Lashley's head a little bit. We saw later on in the show, we saw the VIP lounge, and what happened was Bobby Lashley came out, and you can tell he clearly wasn't himself. His tie was loose and everything like that. He came down, he told the women to leave, and he started, you know, telling MVP off, saying that, you know, they're right of what's going on. I'm getting soft, and my mind isn't focused, and him losing to Woods was his wake-up call. And it seems like they're breaking up, him and MVP, because he sat there and said, it's time to, stop BSing and get down to real business. No more women, no more partying, all the other stuff. And now we're going to get serious, Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley is serious, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm good for it. Now look, okay, I love the New Day. I love Kofi Kingston. Kofi Mania happened. I was very excited about it. However, I'm going to say this now. I'm not going to wait till predictions. I really hope Bobby Lashley destroys Kofi Kingston. I really do. I mean, it's something that we're going to need, especially if we're going to get this Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. We need serious Bobby Lashley back, and we need him to destroy Kofi Kingston. Sorry. I am sorry, but that's what needs to happen. Because if we get Bobby Lashley with the women and the champagne and the sunglasses and joking around and stuff like that, especially if we're leading on to this Goldberg versus Bobby Lashley. No, I went serious Bobby Lashley, and because let's all be serious, this match between him and Goldberg will last 5 minutes or less. I should take predictions. I am sure that there may be, and this might not even be true, but I am sure there may be a bet floating around somewhere on the internet of how long a Goldberg match would be if he's going against Bobby Lashley, of how long this match is going to be. There were other things that happened. We had the segment with Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal breaking the sword, Drew McIntyre breaking the motorcycle, and so we got that feud coming. And truthfully, I feel like it's a feud that we should be a lot more excited for. But I don't know, it's just the way that we're going about things. I mean, Jinder Mahal, I want to give him a nickname very similar to the Biker Taker. I guess we can call him Biker Jinder or something like that. I don't know. He really gives me Biker Taker vibes when he rides in with the motorcycle. Like, I'm very sure that if there was a choice, that they will have him rolling out to the Limp Bizkit, keep rolling, like we used to do with Bike Taker. So we got that storyline going on. And then we got this weird storyline with Alexa Bliss, Eva Marie, and Doudrop. And I don't know what to really expect from this feud. They came out to check out the Fatal 4-Way match with Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Asuka, and Nikki Ash. And then, during the match, Eva Marie and Doudrop come out. Alexa Bliss had looked over at them, and she gave this creepy Harley Quinn smile. And she comes out and she tries to go to Eva Marie, but then Doudrop, attacked her, picked her up, and threw her over the barricade. And then when Eva Marie went to go check on her, Alexa Bliss was gone. And so then it turned to a triple threat match, basically. And we had Nikki, I keep wanting to call her Nikki Cross. Nikki Ash taking the win, which is surprising. My thing is, though, I know Nikki Ash is it feels like a very lovable character. It's a character that she kind of came up with and stuff like that. But when it comes to characters like that, and I said this before, but you're very limited with the there's a ceiling in wrestling when you're that type of character. Now, it's very possible she can win the women's title, but I really don't see it happening. I think if she stays this character, she may get a title shot or something like that, but I feel like whenever you're doing these superhero type whenever you do these like superhero type or anything like this, there's a bit of a ceiling that that is there with your character. I was in and out with watching Raw, so I missed like half of it, but I did see what I was just talking about. So going into NXT, now I did watch NXT, and I had completely forgot about Mandy Rose. But we started off with Dakota Kai versus Amber Moon. So in case people were wondering, hey, what's going on with Amber Moon? Amber Moon said, I'm not going back to that main roster. I am cool right down here in NXT. And that's completely fine. Maybe they didn't want her. Maybe she didn't want to go up. Who knows? But it felt like the call-ups on SmackDown was a bit sudden because there were storylines that was happening in NXT with Toni Storm, Tegan Nox, and even Shotzi Blackheart. But it felt like, it kind of just got ripped up and when they got called out. So this match between Dakota Kai and Amber Moon, it was a good opening match. But I don't know. It wasn't as exciting as it should have been on paper. I know that there's not a lot of people who are fans of Amber Moon. I like Amber Moon, but it feels like ever since she got injured, went from the main roster to NXT, it feels like she kind of mellowed out. When she was first in NXT, she had that bit of a mystique, and she was really good. But once she got that injury and, she came back and now she's in NXT, I don't know, it feels like, not really the fire, but it just feels like she's holding back a little bit, if that makes sense. But yeah, after this match, we had Gonzalez in the ring with Dakota Kai, and Xia Li comes out, and she comes right into the ring, gets right into Gonzalez's face, and says, you're in my way of my destiny. And Gonzalez took off her title. She was like, you want this? You want a shot at this? You got it. But however, the story that probably a lot of people didn't notice, did you see Dakota Kai reacting to the whole thing? Dakota Kai, when she defeated Amber Moon, Dakota Kai kind of like stood in the way of Raquel Gonzalez as if she thought Xia Li was coming to challenge her. And you see Xia Li walk past by her like she was 2 feet tall. And you can see, like, in Dakota Kai's face, she was looking like, that wasn't cool at all. Like, hello, I'm here too. I understand she got the title, but you can challenge me. We don't need to fight for a title. And afterwards, like, you can kind of see Dakota Kai was kind of like, I would say slightly offended that Xia Li kind of walked past by her like that. But she was that there was something definitely on her mind when she walked past by Dakota Kai like that. We also had the vignettes. First of all, we knew it was coming. We knew that it would be good, and it was the vignettes of Cameron Grimes, who is now the butler for LA Knight. And these vignettes were very funny. First of all, this did nothing but put Cameron Grimes over a hell of a lot more. If you think he wasn't charming in front of the live crowd when he was at the Great American Bash, I can only imagine once we get that NXT takeover in front of the live crowd, how much that crowd is going to pop for Cameron Grimes. First of all, the vignettes was funny. So the first one, this was all about LA Knight trying to get Cameron Grimes upset. And so he decided, I'm going to give you a makeover. And they trimmed his beard, they slicked back the hair, and he showed him the mirror as if he expected Cameron Grimes to freak out. But Cameron Grimes was like, oh, he was like, I look good. He was like, I really didn't think I could pull off these gloves, but, these gloves are nice. And so LA Knight got upset. And then he walks off and was like, come on over here. And my favorite part is Cameron Grimes did what I call the playa spin when you spin around slowly because you knew you looked good as all hell. And then he took him out to the next vignette. He took him out to the lawn and told him to mow the lawn. And he was like, "You call this a big lawn?" Because he's a country boy, so he's seen a lot of lawns before. And then LA Knight tried to make Cameron Grimes feel, less than by telling him, oh no, you're going to mow this big lawn with this very small, it was like a lawnmower, one of the manual lawnmowers. And he was like, oh shoot, my grandma used to chase me around the yard with this. Basically, he's having a good time. And LA Knight just, he couldn't do anything about it, because Cameron Grimes was having a good old time no matter what. And so then we get to the final vignette. And we see LA Knight come out. And we see Cameron Grimes just chilling in a chair. While there's a kid, some random kid. I think somebody needs to call the police. Because there's a random kid in someone's yard raking. He was doing the job for him. And so LA Knight was like, what are you doing? And Cameron Grimes is like, well, I may be the butler, but I'm a millionaire too. And so he decided to pay this kid to mow the lawn for him. He decided to delegate, he said. And first of all, Cameron Grimes was in some Calvin Kleins. And yes, that kind of rhymed there. I like that. First of all, I know that they wrestle in the wrestling trunks and stuff like that, but it's a whole entire story to be chilling on national TV in some cowboy boots and some Calvin Kleins. The amount of confidence you have to have in yourself to be wearing some Calvin Kleins and some cowboy boots, I think all of us should strive to have that type of confidence. That level of confidence was higher than The Rock. And I just said that. Wearing some Calvin Kleins, yo. Only models wear Calvin Kleins. But here comes Cameron Grimes just wearing them out for free. But those vignettes with Cameron Grimes and LA Knight was just magic, I have to say. The crowd is going to pop so hard for Cameron Grimes once they get in front of live crowds again. It's going to be great. We also had the breakout tournament, Duke Hudson versus Ikemen Jiro. First of all, I love Jiro's intro. It sounded like an intro to an anime. He wore a jacket to the ring that apparently was picked for him by fans, and he actually wrestled in a jacket, which I thought was really different. I don't know how comfortable it was to wrestle in the jacket. I would think that, it would sometimes get in the way of things if you're trying to be a little mobile or something like that, because he seems like he was a bit of a high flyer, because he did a few high flying moves. But yeah, he wrestled in the jacket. Duke Hudson looked pretty good. The match really wasn't very exciting to me. It's a breakout tournament, so I really don't expect to be completely wowed by everyone. But in the end, Duke Hudson had won the match, which I was a bit surprised by. I thought it would be Jiro who would win the match, but Duke Hudson we'll see, because this breakout tournament had led to people getting signed to NXT later on and everything like that. So it could be that Ikemen will end up on the roster permanently. It could be Duke Hudson that'll end up on the roster as well. First of all, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was cracking me up because he was going around to Karrion Kross and Johnny Gargano to introduce himself as the official. And the way he did it is hilarious because he was like, I'm here to introduce myself as the official. Two things. Make sure you protect yourself and abide by my rules. We had two different reactions to it. First of all, Karrion Kross was training, and when Samoa Joe came in to introduce himself, and Karrion Kross, kept on training as, sitting there was like, I know who you are, dude. Like, I'm not from under a rock. Whereas though Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory was sitting there chanting Joe, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow the rules, of course. That's simple. I can do those things. And so that, of course, they went and promoted their t-shirt, which they said Samoa Joe doesn't have one, but they say he can have one, and Samoa Joe just kind of left. And that was the end of that. We also had a promo with Adam Cole, which was a very good promo, first of all. He was first talking about Kyle O'Reilly, and then he started talking about Samoa Joe, saying that, Samoa Joe isn't going to come out, and he's not going to come out because, of course, he's going to stay in the back. And he said that no one in the locker room, has the balls to challenge him, is man enough to challenge him, I should say. Which, of course, we know is code for, hey, someone come out and interrupt my promo. And out comes Bronson Reed. So we was all wondering what Bronson Reed was going to do next after he lost the North American Championship. And here he is going on to bigger things. Not exactly bigger, because Adam Cole's smaller, but you know what I mean. Bronson Reed arrives saying that he looks at Adam Cole as his has this golden opportunity. And Adam Cole went to attack him. Bronson Reed was able to body check Adam Cole right out the ring. Adam Cole comes out. Samoa Joe comes down because he is about to referee the main event. And so I'm intrigued by, of course, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe. I'll take that all day, every day. But I am intrigued by Bronson Reed versus Adam Cole. Basically the powerhouse versus, super kicks. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Of course, we all know this is Adam Cole is leading eventually to a feud between him and Samoa Joe, which I think is going to be completely awesome as well. So now we get to the main event, which is Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano. The guest referee, of course, is Samoa Joe. This was a very good match, of course. Of course, we knew this was going to be a good match. Johnny Gargano is so good in the ring. Karrion Kross is good in the ring as well. A lot of people were a little worried that Johnny Gargano was going to take the title off of Karrion Kross. To me, truthfully, it wouldn't have made sense for it to be Johnny Gargano, seeing as though Karrion Kross done kind of ripped through everyone. But now the story is who is going to take the title off of Karrion Kross. Now, this was I think this match was for like a good 15-20 minutes, I think it was. Karrion Kross was pretty dominant, but it wasn't a squash match. Johnny Gargano was able to hold his own, of course. But in the end, we had Karrion Kross, who retained his title. Samoa Joe gave him the title, held up his hand, and I think Samoa Joe let his hand go, or I think it was Karrion Kross who snatched his hand away. And they had a couple of words, of course, and Samoa Joe went to walk away, and that's when Karrion Kross went and started choking out Samoa Joe. And I'm sitting here like, okay, so we know where this is going. Samoa Joe is, he got to put the hands on Karrion Kross now, and he has to put Karrion Kross to sleep. Because that's what you do. You put me to sleep, I put you to sleep, like type of situation. So NXT as a whole was a pretty good show. Another piece of news that I completely forgot to talk about, slightly NXT related, is that breaking news was confirmed earlier today that NXT UK champion Walter has suffered a severe injury to his left hand and is deemed unfit to defend his title. It's a developing story. We don't know how long he's going to be out for, but completely a shame. Especially Walter has been NXT UK champion for over 2 years. And it's going to be a shame if that reign comes to an end because of an injury. I like Walter. I love, of course, Imperium's theme music. Like, who won't love it? I mean, it feels like straight up Imperial March to me. You gotta have a theme song whenever you walk into the room. But yeah, I really hope that some people, of course, whenever they announce an injury, you don't know if it's storyline or not. It seems like it's not a storyline, so I really hope that Walter, recovers quickly and is able to come back 100% and just pick up where he left off. So going into, finally, AEW Dynamite, this was Fyter Fest Night 1, and I knew it was going to be tough to kind of follow up from Road Rager, because that was the first show on the road in front of live fans, and truthfully the crowd was hot, but they weren't as hot as the Miami crowd. Now I completely forgot where they were here. I think it was Texas. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was in Texas. So it wasn't as awesome as it was with last week. However, it was an okay show. There was some lowlights. There was some highlights. First of all, I didn't see the opening match with Jon Moxley versus Carl Anderson, but I heard it was a good match. I heard the crowd was really live for them. I did check out the FTW Championship match, Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, the crowd was completely hot for Ricky Starks. It was a bit of a dominant match for with Brian Cage being more dominant. But Starks, he has the charisma like anyone. And he was definitely over with the crowd. So AEW kind of have an opportunity, if they decide to have Ricky Starks become a babyface, to definitely play off the crowd with that. Because, he's definitely one of the heels that has so much charisma. He is cheered like a babyface. So hopefully AEW, if they ever decide to give Starks a singles run, especially if he's a babyface, even if he's a bit of a heel, he can kind of be, because, The Rock and Stone Cold, when they weren't technically heels, but they weren't exactly a babyface either. So they could definitely do something like that with Ricky Starks. It happens with Kevin Owens as well. So they could definitely do something like that with Starks. Ricky Starks. Did I just call him Tony Starks? Okay. He's not Iron Man. Ricky Starks. Now, towards the end of the match, the referee was distracted, and you see Ricky went to go for the title, and we see Hobbs, take it away from him, and Ricky was sitting there like, what? Like, my man, you were supposed to it was almost like a the Lion King moment. Like, brother, you supposed to have my side. But in the end, we saw that even though Hobbs took the title from him, when the referee was distracted towards the end of the match, we saw Hobbs strike Brian Cage with the championship, and Ricky Starks cover him for the win. And the crowd popped so hard for Ricky Cross. What is going on with me? Ricky Starks. Oh my goodness. Wow. Ricky Starks won, and the crowd was they popped so hard for that win. So AEW definitely has that opportunity to if they turn him a babyface, they definitely can make money off of that. After that, we had the segment with Cody Rhodes coming out. He hops on commentary and starts talking crap to Malachi Black, which didn't make any sense because the live crowd couldn't hear what he was saying. So I don't know what was the idea behind that, but eventually somebody probably told him, get your ass off commentary and get a live mic, which he did, and he gets into the ring, and Homelander Jr. decided to talk about how, oh my gosh, Malachi, how could you kick a 60-year-old man in the face, and this, that, and the third. And so then Malachi Black appears on the Titantron, and he talks about a story of a horse, a man who he loved this horse, and he woke up one day and he didn't the love wasn't there for the horse anymore. And then he decided to take the horse. He took the horse out and took a plastic bag, and and I was like, wow, this is a story for PETA to hear. And so I was like, well, that's a very different type of story to say. So then Cody Rhodes was like, well, why won't you come out and say that to my face? And Malachi Black was like, I thought you never asked. And then the lights went down. I appreciate that, it feels like the lights go down enough for him to come from the back to get into the ring, versus he's already under the ring and has to, get out to get in the ring. Because we've seen it plenty of times before. Whenever lights go out, normally lights aren't out for too long because the person is underneath the ring or something like that. So the lights come back up. We see it's Malachi Black. The crowd pops for him. And then they start fighting. And I realized Malachi Black is in all black and Homelander Jr. is in all white. So it's the good versus the evil. But, however, in this story, the evil is more over with the crowd. So I don't know what Cody Rhodes is going to do. He's going to be the ultimate baby face. All right. But I'm interested in this feud. I feel like Malachi Black will definitely bring because this is a type of feud we haven't gotten in a while with Cody Rhodes. I mean, he had this feud the whole time with the Nightmare Factory, I think they were called. Before that, I mean, the feud wasn't as exciting since he went against Brody Lee, if I really think about it. Yeah, I can't. There may be a feud after that Cody had, but as far as like level of excitement, especially for Cody Rhodes to lose, I would say Brody Lee. Now, of course, the officials had to come out to break up the crowd, to break up Malachi and Cody Rhodes. It's going to be weird calling him Malachi Black. I keep wanting to say Aleister Black, but at least he kept the black part. But it's very weird to keep saying Malachi Black. But I'm excited for this. I really am. This was a very good segment. It was a the crowd reacted perfectly to this segment. The aggression was there. It wasn't like we had. I mean, we had two promo segments on AEW. Both of them the crowd was very hot for, and the promos didn't like drag out for too long. Things that were said was meant to be said. There wasn't a lot of filler, I should say. Everything was a little more to the point, which I appreciate. Like, it tells the story, but it's right to the point. It wasn't like, it wasn't a lot of back and forth with Malachi and Cody. It wasn't like Cody was like, well, come say it to my face, and then Alistair, there I go. And Malachi had to sit there and come up with a reason why he couldn't show up. We had instead, oh, I thought you never asked. I was born ready, baby. So, right after that, then we had the segment with Hangman Page, which was awesome as well. I kind of like came to in the middle of this promo, but we had the Elite come out, and we had Hangman Page in there with the Dark Order, and of course the crowd was so behind Hangman Page. Like I said, Hangman Page storyline, the long-term booking with him is just like so good. It's not that often that we get long-term booking that actually works, and that the crowd isn't drained at the end, because we've seen it plenty of times with long-term booking, and within a month or two, like, you're already tired. Like, the story is dragging out longer than a soap opera. But with Hangman Page, it's just like the perfect amount of storyline that's being told, and it's him having the confidence, not only this to challenge for the title, but the challenge for the title with his former friends. So we had Kenny Omega, who decided to challenge Hangman Page to it was a 6-man tag team match, in which if the Dark Order and Hangman Page were to lose, not only will the Dark Order lose an opportunity to go after the tag team titles, but Hangman Page will lose his opportunity for the AEW championship. And I believe this is an elimination match as well, so this type of match is going to take over like more than half of the show. At first it didn't seem like Page will accept it, because you kind of see the look on his face, but then he accepted the match, and he accepted the match, which the crowd popped for them again. They were chanting cowboy shit, and it was just like definitely a high. Like I said, I really love this storyline with Hangman Page, that he is slowly coming around for him to be the top guy. And I know that he is part of the Elite and everything like that, but he is like an AEW person, if that makes sense. It's not like I know he was part of the Elite, but it's like he's part of the Elite, but he is he was the less popular one, if I should say that, because we had Kenny Omega, we have the Young Bucks, and we had Cody Rhodes, and it was kind of like Hangman Page was kind of like to the side type of situation. At least that's how it felt like to me. After that, then we get Christian Cage versus Matt Hardy. As many times as we have seen this, and AEW admits that we've seen this a lot. This feud has been going on for 23 years. And unfortunately to me, I wasn't really that excited for this feud. Truthfully, this is going to sound horrible. But it felt like two old people going against each other. And I know that's horrible, but it just felt like a low. Maybe because we came off of such, back-to-back powerful segments, and then we get into this, and then it was just like, ugh. But man, it was okay. I wasn't really as excited for this match because we've seen this match before, and we also seen, them at their prime going against each other. And so now that we get in this, it's just like, it's like, meh, all right. It was okay. Then we got, some more promos. We had Britt Baker, who came out, and she's over with the crowd, of course. Then we had Miro, who came out, and we had Miro, who did I think it was a vignette. He did a backstage promo talking about how, he called himself the Redeemer. And I think he mentioned that no one can beat him or anything like that. I forgot who he's being set up to go against. I want to say Lance Archer, but I'm not 100% sure. But Britt Baker basically cutting such a good promo. She has gotten so much better too. I am so happy for her. For the way that she went from, we thought that she was going to be the top woman in AEW, and for her to not really, match up to them standards, and AEW having to go with different women to hold the title, and now she has finally come full circle, and now she is the top, female wrestler in AEW. It's just like, kudos to her. Something I forgot to mention with that Christian Cage and Matt Hardy match. Interesting thing, we had the Matt Hardy squad. I forgot their name. I know it's Private Party and everything, but I forgot what their faction name is. They came out to try to attack Christian Cage, and then we had the Jungle Express who came out. They started to cheer for Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, of course. The interesting thing, though, is that Luchasaurus put Christian Cage on his shoulders, which he typically does for Jungle Boy, and Jungle Boy was looking like what's up with this? Like, why you got him on your shoulders? So I don't know if this is the seed for him versus Christian Cage, or if he's looking like, hey, Luchasaurus, like, what the hell is that? Which I hope he doesn't, because I don't think that's going to work out right for him. So then, skipping down to the main event in AEW, it was the coffin match. Not the casket match. Don't get this confused with the Undertaker casket match. This is different. The coffin match is different because, first of all, number one, there were flowers in the casket. Number two, not casket, coffin. Number two, there was a quote on the coffin, as we saw. The coffin was, it was wooden. And the shape of it is very like Western, versus what we get in the casket matches over in WWE. But I found it funny that it's a coffin match. I know Darby Allin does the coffin drop, but it's a coffin match. We're all gonna think about the Undertaker and his casket matches. But this match was pretty good. I don't know. First of all, can we talk about how crazy Darby Allin is? Like, every time he wrestles, he is knocking off years off his life. I know that he said who his favorite wrestlers are, but I think deep down he wants to be Mick Foley. Like, one of these damn days, this boy is going to knock a damn tooth out of his mouth with these crazy bumps that he be taking. And the crazy thing is, like, I don't know how much Darby Allin weighs. I know he doesn't weigh that much. And so it's like, dude, like, there's not a lot of meat on your bones. So when you fall, like, it hurts a lot more. There's no cushion. You know, you don't have that bit of a cushion. So when you know, slam yourself into the damn barricade because you're so damn speedy, you know, it's gonna hurt. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has bruises, if he's walking with a bit of a limp or something like that. If whenever he needs to sit down, he's easing into the seat instead of sitting down like a normal 100% healthy person. I don't know what's going on with Darby Allin, but he is just so willing to like damn near get himself. Because there was the spot where Ethan Page was ringside. He was over by the barricade, and Darby Allin like launches through the rope, and he didn't even do a suicide dive. This dude kind of instead turned to the side to hit Ethan Page, and he like that was one spot, but there was another spot where he hit the damn guardrail, which I'm like, dude, like, you're over, you know, we all appreciate it, we love you, but damn, you need to like slow down, take off some of that stuff out of your moveset, yo. But yeah, this was a crazy match. First of all, you know, thoughts with the fan who lost the $20 beer that got spilled over during that spot with Ethan Page and Darby Allin to the outside. When he launched himself at Ethan Page in the barricade, he like hit the barricade, and whoever's poor beer was sitting on the ground got knocked over, and they done lost. I saw them lose at least $15 amount of beer, because we all know how expensive beers are in the arenas. So in the end, we had Darby Allin, who he had the skateboard. He jumped off the top rope and drove the skateboard into Ethan Page's back, and Ethan Page went into the coffin. Darby Allin closed the lid, and we win. Now, normally for a normal person, that would be it. You know, you'll have the coffin taken away, you'll have your hand raised, and you end the show with the fireworks and the crowd cheering with you in the middle of the ring. But not Darby Allin. No, ladies and gentlemen. Darby Allin said no. I need to knock off a couple of more weeks off my life. I'm going to climb up to the top rope and do a coffin drop onto the coffin. And Ethan Page was inside, so in case anybody thinks that there was any type of magic effects, like, no, there was actually a crash pad on the inside. No. You see Ethan Page cowering, like, trying not to get injured at all from, you know, Darby Allin landing onto the coffin and it breaking, so he's actually landing on Ethan Page. Craziness. He is, the thing is though, I you know, this was the main event, and this was a good main event. Darby Allin, you know, my goodness, so crazy. So crazy. And oh yeah, the spot when they opened up the when they opened up the coffin, I completely forgot about this. When they opened up the coffin, it was actually Scorpio Sky in there, and he started attacking Darby Allin. And then Sting comes out. Of course, the crowd pops like hell. Sting comes out, starts attacking Scorpio Sky. They go into the crowd, and then they go away. So I forgot to talk about that part. But I'm very happy for Darby Allin that, you know, he is the one to main event. Because, you know, there's people out there, including myself, I'll admit it, who sit there and talk about how many WWE people AEW is signing, you know, that they're not giving, you know, other people an opportunity to shine. And here we are, you know, Darby Allin, Ethan Page, you know, a coffin match, getting the chance to shine with an explosive main event. And so kudos to AEW for doing that, you know. Because like I said this plenty of times, they have a huge roster. And with the roster being so huge, it's only but so much you can show on AEW Dynamite. And then soon with the AEW Rampage. And so because they have a lot of big stars, you know, you're seeing a lot of the same people on AEW Dynamite, and it's not really a lot of chance for people, for, you know, them to cultivate their own, you know, people that you never heard of before. If you know, people who are not on Being the Elite or came from WWE. So I'm very happy that Darby Allin got his time to shine, but he just needs to slow down a little bit. Just take some of those moves out of your moveset. You know, you don't gotta take all the years out of your life. That's all I'm saying. So now let's get to what's happening this Sunday, and that is the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I guess we can't really say pay-per-view because it's not technically a pay-per-view. Like, we're all paying $6 for it. So I guess the Money in the Bank special or event or show, I don't know, but it's not a pay-per-view. I'm so used to always saying pay-per-view for all these years, back when you had to pay $50 for it, or you had to know someone who knows someone so you can see it for free. So just the Money in the Bank. How about that? The Money in the Bank. So let's go through the predictions. Starting out, we have, for the Raw Tag Team Champions, we have Omos and AJ Styles versus the Viking Raiders. We've seen this, you know, going on for the past couple of weeks. The Viking Raiders coming out to distract Omos or AJ Styles. We also had the one-on-one matches, of course, because that's what we do in the feuds. And for here, I'm going to go for Omos and AJ Styles to retain. I think the Viking Raiders could definitely win the titles here. But I think with Omos, especially how they always show, like, oh my gosh, look how powerful he is, look how tall he is, oh my goodness, he's such a monster. I think that's going to continue to put them over. Now, I know that they'll eventually lose the titles. Maybe that will happen at SummerSlam, who knows? Or what could happen if they do have the Viking Raiders win this means that we're actually setting up AJ Styles for a match at SummerSlam, whoever that may be against. If they're smart, they will have Daniel Bryan and have AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam, like all of us would love to see. However, only one can dream. So I'm going to go with Omos and AJ Styles here. Next up, for the Raw Women's Championship, we have Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. And we have seen it, you know, for the past couple of weeks, you know, Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley doing this, like, Spider-Man thing where Rhea Ripley and her are doing the same thing. Charlotte's coming out with the crutch. She comes out with the crutch. They kick each other's crutch at the same time. It's just like the Spider-Man meme, GIF, where, you know, they're pointing at each other. So, for this one, I'm actually going to say Charlotte Flair wins this. I feel like we all know what this is leading up to. I feel like Charlotte Flair is going to win the title and she's going to walk into SummerSlam as champion. As far as who she will be going against, I don't know. They could definitely have her going against Rhea Ripley once more. But I don't know. But I feel, I mean, if they really want to do it, they'll have Becky Lynch comes back, and then it'll be Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam if they want to pull that trigger. But I have Charlotte Flair winning the title here. I love Rhea Ripley, but I feel like it's time, sweetie. It's time for you to hand it over to the Queen, who has improved her moveset and her looks. And I mean, as far as like her hair, she did something for her hair and her makeup. She looks completely different. I know she goes under the knife, but it's something with the styling of her hair and the way she dresses now. It's like night and day now. So next, let's go into the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And I don't know why, but I completely missed that they actually did add the women to the Money in the Bank ladder match. So in the ladder match, we have Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Naomi, Nikki Ash, Natalya, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, and Tamina. I'm going to say, and I know I'm going to say this, but this match isn't as exciting as the women's match last year. Sorry to say. Because with the match last year, we had Asuka, Charlotte, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and it all happened in the WWE headquarters. Which, yeah, we had Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Nia Jax. You can even say that. A lot of people was hoping that Shayna Baszler would win the briefcase, but it ended up being Asuka. But for them to have it in the headquarters, it kind of made it more fun. But here, applause to the women. We know that Naomi may do something crazy. I would say Zelina Vega may do something crazy. Tamina is going to be there for the power. Maybe even Nikki Ash might do something since she's the superhero. But for this, now it would be crazy if Naomi wins the briefcase, but I actually would rather have Naomi versus Bianca Belair. I know Naomi is Raw, but that's why I'm kind of hoping. All right, here we go. Listen out here. Naomi wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. Sasha Banks returns, challenges Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. Naomi cashes in, triple threat. Boom! Book it. Let's do it. Now, I have a feeling Naomi will not be winning the briefcase, unfortunately. I have a feeling that Zelina Vega may win it. I don't think it's going to be Asuka because it'll be back to back, and I feel like they don't have anything for Asuka right now because of the way that she has been booked. Nikki Ash, like I said, if Nikki Ash wins the Money in the Bank briefcase, it's going to be completely like Otis. Let me not say that, because they did give the briefcase to Otis last year, which was completely left field, and they really didn't know what to do with it. So it's very possible that they can just have someone just win the Money in the Bank briefcase and just have them win it just to win it, just to do something different. So I don't really see Asuka winning. I would love for Naomi to win it, and so that it will lead to a triple threat match between her, Sasha, and Bianca Belair. I have a feeling it may be Zelina Vega. I know she just returned and everything like that. A lot of people are wondering why she came back. It could be that they told this to her. It could be that, that they told her, like, hey, we'll have you win the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like I said, we don't know exactly what happened that brought her back. But what if it's them telling her, hey, we'll make you Mrs. Money in the Bank, briefcase. We'll give you the briefcase, and you'll be able to cash it in. We'll let you know when to cash it in. You'll win the SmackDown Women's title for a bit. Like, I don't know. Like, normally the briefcase will go to a heel. Last year it went to two baby faces. But I think this year it could go to two heels. Normally a heel works the briefcase a lot better than the baby face. Because, the heels are the one who will parade around with the briefcase. Whereas those, like we saw with, we didn't really see it with Asuka. We saw it with Otis. Like, he wasn't parading around the briefcase against the champions. He was using it as a lunch bin and stuff like that. So the briefcase works a lot better with someone who's a heel or someone who will actually parade the briefcase around the champion. So I'm going to go with Zelina Vega here. And I definitely could see a feud between her and Bianca Belair. Kind of like that back and forth type of situation. But I think Zelina might win it here. So we already talked about the women's side. Let's talk about the men's side. John Morrison, Ricochet, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. I think this will be the match of the night. I will have to look back, but I do not remember. Like, we may have to go to like early Money in the Bank matches, possibly when it first started, when it was at WrestleMania, but I do not remember a Money in the Bank ladder briefcase match, a Money in the Bank ladder match as stacked as this one. Like, we all know John Morrison, Ricochet is going to do something crazy. Drew McIntyre and Big E is there to, for the power. We know Kevin Owens is going to do something crazy. Seth Rollins may do something crazy. Riddle may even do something crazy. And we all know Shinsuke Nakamura is going to kick the hell out of everyone's faces. So I think this is going to be the match of the night. This is going to be a lot of good matchups. John Morrison and Ricochet going against each other. Shinsuke and Seth Rollins. Big E and Kevin Owens probably. Seth and Riddle. Seth and John Morrison. Like, it's so many different things that we can do here, and it's a lot of possibilities. All of these men are not going to be able to sit down properly tomorrow. I don't mean it in that way. I mean that backs are going to be hitting ladders in this match. There's going to be a ladder bridge. Somebody's going to go through it. Somebody's going to fall off the top of a ladder. Somebody's going to jump off a ladder onto someone who's on a ladder. We're going to see some crazy stuff in here. I tell you that. I definitely know that. Now, as far as who's going to win, I definitely see Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. I know a lot of people are heartbroken that Cesaro lost and wasn't entered into the ladder match. Truthfully, I think Seth Rollins is kind of the way to go. Ever since his storyline with the Mysterios and Murphy and the whole eye for an eye situation, I think Seth Rollins definitely needed a restart and something different to kind of put him back in the title picture. Of course, we are slowly going towards Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, but it seems like we're going for a longer path as far as them two facing off against each other. Now, who could win the Money in the Bank briefcase? Like I said, I definitely could see Seth Rollins winning it. Shinsuke, they can pull it, but I think this storyline with Shinsuke has to do with Baron Corbin, which, oh my gosh, poor guy. Can we talk up, first of all, WWE is so good. They have people feeling bad and wanting to cheer for Baron Corbin. How good is that writer on SmackDown that the person who had the go away heat, no one wanted to see him. Everyone rolled their eyes whenever he appears on the screen. And now people are feeling bad for him and want to cheer for him. Like, kudos WWE. Like, all this, no one can talk crap about, writers and stuff like that, because it's there. The writing skills are there, because they're able to make you feel bad for Baron Corbin and want to boo Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm like, a Shinsuke Nakamura. You do not boo Shinsuke Nakamura. But no, that's what the storyline is doing. So I think Shinsuke's not going to win this. If he wins it, it will definitely tie into the storyline of Shinsuke getting everything because he got the crown. Whereas though Baron Corbin is, falling deeper and deeper into, it seems like, depression at this point. Kevin Owens, I don't think Kevin Owens is going to get this. It feels like as of right now, they don't really know what to do with him. He did have the feud against Sami Zayn, which happens every 10 months or something like that at this point. I don't think it's going to be Big E. Drew McIntyre, this would be the one way he would get a title shot. But I don't think it's his time yet. I think Drew McIntyre, he has the feud against Jinder Mahal right now, so I think he's going to finish that out. I don't think it's Riddle. I don't think it's Ricochet, and I don't think it's John Morrison. So I'm going to go with Seth Rollins here. I think this is going to be the reset for Seth Rollins, for him to get back into the title picture. I could definitely see him parading around, him, especially segments between him and Roman Reigns. Like, I know Roman Reigns is definitely looking at Edge right now, and eventually, according to a lot of rumors, John Cena. But I see Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. If it's someone else, I don't really mind that much. If it's any one of the other men, because I know this match is going to be really good. So next up for the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Bobby Lashley. And I said this earlier in the show, I'm going with Bobby Lashley here. I want serious Bobby Lashley. I want break your back Bane type of Bobby Lashley. Because we talked about the rumor of who is coming next, and no, I don't want Bobby Lashley to lose the title at SummerSlam. No. No, he's not losing the title at SummerSlam. I expect this to be a good match, but I fully expect Bobby Lashley to retain here and destroy Kofi Kingston in the end. Swerve would be if Kofi Kingston actually goes with MVP, because it was a recent rumor or news that came out that they actually wanted to break up New Day after Kofi Mania. And I know that, I don't know, I know they don't want to break them up. It's going to be very tough to break up the New Day because the New Day brings in so much money on merchandise with their t-shirts and everything. Like, they just showed a t-shirt recently that was new that had their faces on it with the trombone. So it's going to be very hard to do it, but oh my gosh, I would love to see a heel Kofi Kingston, especially a heel Kofi Kingston with MVP. I think that would be very interesting to see. But I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley on this one. And then finally, for the main event, we have Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship. Now, I fully expect for someone to pop up. Like, we all know it's not going to be Cena. Maybe Daniel Bryan or something, but we know somebody is going to come in Edge's corner, because we're going to have Roman Reigns and the Usos out there. Something I would love to see, first of all, is for Uso to turn on Uso, and then we get the long-awaited Uso versus Uso match that I would love to see at WrestleMania. But, however, it seems like we're going to continue on with the Tribal Clan, with Roman Reigns doing everything for family, and how we have to do it together. And plus, the timing, truthfully, for Uso versus Uso probably isn't right, with Jimmy Uso suffering with the DUI and everything like that. But here, I fully expect the Tribal Chief to retain, because he's the Tribal Chief. He has to keep that title until, he comes back. And this is going to be in front of a crowd, which I'm very happy for. No longer we're going to hear the piped in sounds. The Tribal Chief will be properly cheered for, which we're actually going to see on SmackDown. But I really hope the crowd is hot. Like, please cheer because the wind blows. Cheer because someone stood up. Cheer because Michael Cole said something stupid. Like, I really hope the crowd is hot during Money in the Bank event, show, pay-per-view, whatever we want to call it. However, as it was announced, there are a few things that is happening on SmackDown this Friday. It is in front of a live crowd now. We're going to have Bianca Belair and Carmella versus the SmackDown Women's title, which, of course, Bianca Belair is going to retain, because why would they do something like that? Big E, Kevin Owens, King Shinsuke Nakamura, and Seth Rollins is going to be a fatal four-way match. It really doesn't matter who wins. I'm going to say Seth Rollins loses, because he's going to win at the Money in the Bank. Normally, whoever loses is the one who's going to win anyway. And then we have the Edge and the Mysterios going against Roman Reigns and the Usos. I don't know why the Mysterios aren't on this, isn't at Money in the Bank defending their title. I guess it's just like, I don't know. I don't know why we're not defending the title. Maybe it'll come around that, we're going to have the Mysterios versus the Usos, probably for a pre-show or something like that, or it'll get added at some point during the show. It may be announced at SmackDown, really. But yeah, I'm slightly excited for Money in the Bank, especially for that men's Money in the Bank ladder match. I think that's going to definitely steal the night. But I am very excited to have live crowds back. I know, we got the good and the bad with live crowds, especially what we saw in AEW with the fan jumping in, crowds taking over promos with chants and stuff like that. The "This is awesome" chant that a lot of people absolutely love to hear every 5 seconds during a match. But I'm ready for it. I'm just so ready to feed off of the live crowd. It makes matches and shows so much better when you have a hot crowd. And that's what I really hope that we will have this Sunday. And I hope that we have a great show as well. So that is it for the Wrestlebread podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Let me give some shout outs. Shout out to Julian and Rob Bass from the Wrestling Court podcast and AttorneyMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay show. Chris and Keita, who from We Talk Next podcast, which is also featured on the Keita and Jay show. Nando and Larry from Half K podcast. I just literally said that. Sorry. Devin Hafiz from ClarkStreetWrestling.com. And coming up next week, it's going to be a recap of Money in the Bank. Also a recap of Fyter Fest Night 2. That's it for all the pay-per-views. The Wednesday after that, we're going to get Fight for the Fallen. And then after that, we'll be leading up to SummerSlam and All Out. There is the rumor that Cena will be coming allegedly next week on SmackDown. Of course, with the fallout or whatever happens at SmackDown, he's going to come out, and I'm interested to see how that dynamic is going to go between him and the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Be sure to hop on Twitter. Follow me at JaydC137. That's JAYDEE, the letter C, 137. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at Wrestlebread. You can also find the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you listen to your podcast as well. Thank you once again for listening, and until next time, guys, peace.